Hi everyone, this is Dr. Simple Budgets. I'm that zero-based cash stuffing budgeter and doctor of psychology. And I wanted to share something with you today that my nail is nice and healthy. No, but seriously, look at what it used to look like. The nail bed was really bad. So I felt really bad because, I am a nail person. I have a lot of nail stuff. And I think nice nails, when you're in this sort of business of being on YouTube and cash stuffing, it is important. But I had to wait for my nail to get better. It took like 2.5 months. So what we're doing today is two things. One, we're doing these nails. Number two, I have a psychology video for you, so I thought I would do nails and do this voiceover for you at the same time. I have new subscribers. I'm shocked and very happy and surprised at the same time. I have a new male subscriber who I've been watching for a while. He budgets. He's really awesome. But I think he might not like this video, but he might. He might like the psychology side of this video. So let's get into it. One of my last videos, I was talking about the two primary motivators. Hi, can I speak? Two primary motivators, which is pain avoidance and pleasure seeking, right? Those are the drivers of human behavior. So in one way, if you are pain avoiding and that is what motivates you, it's because you have a natural instinct to avoid harm or negative experiences. That's my nail dehydrator right there. And pleasure seeking is the opposite. It's the drive to pursue positive experiences and enjoyments or rewards, which gets us into my topic for today. So not only do we have nails, but we have the topic of no spend days. Now, this is something that I didn't know people really kept track of until I became a part of the budgeting community. I will tell you how I used to do no spend days. First of all, I didn't call them no spend days. I called them I'm broke days because I used to spend all my money. As many of you know, I only got paid once a month, and I still get paid once a month. And I would spend all my money, and then maybe like the last week of the month, I would be like, well, I have gas in my car, and I have food in the refrigerator, so, oh well, I can't enjoy life because I spent all my money. I already did my cuticles, you guys, beforehand. I figured no one would want to see that, but these are my cuticle nippers. This one's like more heavy duty. And then I have this beautiful pair of cuticle scissors here that I absolutely love. They're super sharp. They're very dangerous, but they're also very beautiful at the same time. So I love them. Yeah, so I know that there are people on YouTube that have no spend days, and I don't know, I hear kind of a lot of different versions. Like, I know people on YouTube that plan their no spend days in advance. They're like, I'm not going to spend this day, this day, this day because I have these things coming up. And I have something to say about that from a psychological standpoint, actually, which is, there's a right and a wrong way to do no spend days, from a psychological standpoint, of course. And I want to share that with you guys today. This is me putting on a base coat. It is a regular base coat of regular nail polish. I am a gel nail polish girl, but I do like regular base coat because it keeps my nails a lot healthier. And this one by Orly, it only takes about 5 to 10 minutes to completely dry, so I really like it. I'm almost out of it. So, no spending day. So, first of all, here's what you want to avoid, okay? Do not use a no spending day as a form of self-punishment, okay? And it shouldn't be viewed as a form of self-punishment, like I'm not going to spend on this day because I spent money last week or something like that. You know, I know a lot of people on YouTube also were like, well, I went out shopping and I saw this purse or I saw this pair of shoes that I really, really liked. And I almost bought it, but I didn't because I really like having money in my bank account or money in my envelopes better. So, you know, I can get with that because they're not doing it as a form of punishment anymore. They're actually doing it in a positive way. This is Ms. D. This is like a very light pink nudie color. And I'm only going to put one coat of this on. So, you know, when you're doing gel polishes, you have to have very straight brush strokes or else the quality of the end product just doesn't look as good. So try to be as straight as possible. Now, there's some tools that you can use to help you become a little bit more positive with your no spend days, you know, because a no spend day really is like a practice of self-control and mindfulness. And when I talk about mindfulness, I'm not just talking about like awareness of your spending habits. I'm taking it a step beyond because mindfulness really is more about not only the awareness piece, but also the piece where now that you're aware, you can actually change behavior and try to change behavior over the long term. So that's what mindfulness is. It's kind of a two-step process: awareness and then intentionality. So, number one, I think a no spending day, you know, if it's about mindfulness and it helps you realize where your money is going and, you know, it's going to keep you from making impulsive purchases, then that's positive because it's an exercise in mindfulness and it's not a punishment. Okay, you guys are going to see me do my left or use my left hand, which my left hand is very unintelligent. So I have to anchor my pinky down on the table just to make straight brush strokes. Another thing that you can do is realize that your no spend days are helping you to build better habits. And this is the intentionality piece that I was talking about. So let's say you're someone who's trying to save money or reduce debt like I am. And no spending day is like a really positive tool to have in your tool belt to help you meet those financial goals. But at the same time, it has to be done with some mindfulness. It also basically can help you reduce your stress around money because, again, you know, you are being very intentional because you're aware that you might have some bad habits. Here's my pin cure, you guys. I always use a pin cure just to get that extra hardness onto the gel nail. I find that it just helps a lot to get it extra set and hard in place. And the last thing I will say about no spend days and being mindful, intentional is they shouldn't necessarily be planned out. Instead, you should probably realize this is Jayla. What is it? Okay. I don't know how to pronounce that, so anyone in the comments that speaks like Mandarin or anything, I apologize to. So thinking about a no spend day in terms of the fact that you're just trying to change a habit is so much better than using it as a form of like punishment to yourself. So in other words, if you already know that you have like a propensity to spend money, a no spending day that is centered around promoting self-care is actually a super positive way to look at it. So, in other words, you probably want to do other things like exercise or get into reading or enjoying your free hobbies, because all of those can help improve your emotional well-being. And then, you'll have the opportunity to build those better habits, and then your self-control and empowerment come into play, and you've reduced your stress around money. And it's just like this cascade of positivity that happens when you think of it that way. If someone views a no spend day as a strict punishment or a way to deprive themselves, it can feel really restrictive, and you will not, you won't pursue it anymore. You'll fail eventually is what that comes to. So think of a no spend day in a positive way, replace it with some self-care, and you will be 100%, thinking about it and doing it in a way that can be sustained and can work. All right, what I'm using here, this is like a fairy dust magnetic gel. And what I like to do is I like to take the magnet, pull it to one side, and then use the long end on the other side to give the cat eye effect. And with magnetic gels, you want to pin cure those right away so that the metals in them don't start to spread out again. I love magnetic gels so much. And this one is like a very sheer, sort of like fairy dust color. So we're going very neutral, very understated, yet very pretty today with my nails. Okay, I want to introduce you guys to a really good example of, understanding healthy mindset around, focusing on positive things to basically help you delay that gratification. Like if you're somebody who has a real problem where you just spend money because it sends you that dopamine hit and it makes you feel good, you are going to want to do some no spend days centered around some, self-care for sure. And who else can do that and also does really well with it, but also you probably want to start doing it at a younger age as opposed to older. You can do it when you're older, but the whole idea around delayed gratification really begins when you're a child, in your very formative years, when your young brain is only at about 80%. That's between the ages of 3 to 6 years old. So preschool age children. That's when you really want to start teaching your children about delayed gratification. So there was this experiment. I'm sure most of you have heard of it, the marshmallow experiment. It was done in the 60s and 70s through Stanford. And basically, there were children, about preschool age children, and those kids were placed in a room with a marshmallow in front of them. Have you heard of this? Or sometimes another kind of a treat. And what they did was they said, if you could eat the marshmallow right away, that's fine. But if you wait 15 minutes, I will give you 2 marshmallows. And 15 minutes, as you know, for a child that's 4 to 5, 6 years old is really difficult. How's that looking, you guys? It looks pretty, huh? Looks good, but I'm not finished yet. I told you guys I'm a real nail girly. I have stickers, I have gems, I have rhinestones, I have everything, believe me. You guys had no idea, did you? Well, I am. So I decide here that I'm just gonna choose a size of a rhinestone, and I decided that I'm probably just gonna do 1 on each hand on my ring fingers. Do you guys want to know what happened with these children? So what happened is they left the children alone in the room with the marshmallow. And so the children didn't know that they were being observed, right? They just had to sit there with the marshmallow and they had to resist temptation, okay? They had to have a no-eat marshmallow day, just like we have no spend days. And so it's basically a study in gratification, either immediate gratification or delayed gratification. So some of the children immediately ate the marshmallow, and that's fine. They're 4 to 6 years old. They're going to do that. But guess what? Some of the children waited the entire 15 minutes, and they were able to use like different strategies, like looking away or distracting themselves or even singing to avoid the treat. Those are all learned behaviors, by the way. So, good on the singer for humming a tune while they had to wait. But they did whatever they had to do. In other words, they did something pleasurable to distract them, which is the same as a no-spend day that's instead focused on self-care. You get where I'm going with this? Okay. So the fun thing about this research is they followed these children for years. So this was a longitudinal study. And they caught up with those same participants, the ones that were able to, show delayed gratification. And they found out that those children who were able to wait longer for the second marshmallow, they tend to have better academic success in school. They had higher SAT scores, and they had better overall life outcomes. They had healthier weight. They had better handling of stress and more successful careers than their counterparts who ate the marshmallow right away. So see, you probably want to start getting into teaching your children how to wait and be patient for things at an early age. Maybe I'll do a video on that one, like what is the best age for children to begin, say, budgeting their allowance or something like that. I can do a video on that. Now, of course, as with all research studies done, 50 years ago, there's always going to be people that come in and say, well, we have to critique that and they have to adjust. And that's fine. They did some adjusting. They realized that, there were some other things at play here, like socioeconomic status might come into play with these things, your family background, culture, things like that. But anywho, that is the marshmallow study. Here I'm going to put on a top glossy coat. So after I put on my top coat, these nails are donezo. And you can put a top coat over a rhinestone unless your rhinestone is legitimately like Swarovski. You don't want to put top coat on a Swarovski at all. But mine are not. So I was just going to go ahead and put the top coat over the top of my nails. Gem and all. Yeah, so basically, I just want to end this by saying, no spend day can be positive as long as you make it about self-care and also you don't use it as a form of punishment because you won't persist at it. But just want to give a quick thank you to all my new subscribers. 1 minute I was at like 10 and I was so happy about 10 and all of a sudden I jumped to 18 subscribers. I try to do my best and send all my new subscribers that have an obvious email a little gift. Those of you in my first 10 know that to be true. I reached out to you with an email and a little gift. So a PDF of a tracker. So I'm going to do that for all my new subscribers that have an obvious email. I will reach out to you and I just want to thank you all so much for being here and supporting my channel. And I really appreciate each and every single one of you. I will try harder now even to make this channel even better, especially on the psychology end of things, because budgeting and psychology go together like peanut butter and jelly. I wanted to show you guys my nails under a better light and a better background. So tell me what you think of my nails. And as always, thank you for watching. Next week, I will put up another video and we'll be preparing for the month of June, cash stuffing and doing those randomizers. So thank you again for watching, everyone. Let me know below if you like this topic today and if you think my nails came out nice or not. So I'll see you later. Bye.
For me, work for me, work the body for me, what, work it.